Hi guys, Rich from Trackspark here. Hope you're all okay and had a good January. And to those of you that managed dry January, well done. You're a better person than me, for sure. No way I could do that. But anyway, let's get on with today's little tutorial. I wanted to talk to you today about drum hit replacement and drum tuning. Really, I guess is the main sort of drum tuning, and then along with it, replacement and layering at the same sort of time. So let's quickly have a look here at what I've got. It's just a drum loop. All it is drums. So I've got a kick drum, I've got two snare tracks, top, bottom, and they're routed through this group here, snare group. I've got a hi-hat, I've got overheads left and right coming through an overhead group. Same with the room left, room right, coming through a room, and I've got two toms coming through a tom, even though there's no toms in this. I've left the sort of the ambience of the tom mics just for a little bit of extra meatiness in here. And at the bottom I've got a drum machine sort of set up, or a sampler battery with a couple of hits already in there. Right, so, and let's just pull this down here to where it will be in a sec. I'll explain that in a sec. Right, so let's just listen to the drums, and then we'll show you what I'm going to do. Right, so it's a bit of a big beat, sort of half-time big beat style. There's a bit of EQ and sort of compression and stuff on it already, and I've obviously chopped it all up and done a bit of quantizing on it all. If you ever do that, make sure you put it in a folder, put all your tracks in a folder here, and then press the group editing button so that whatever you do to one piece, it does to the rest of the tracks in there. Otherwise, you'll be splicing things and moving things out of phase and out of time, and it'll become a right mess. But I'm going to turn this off for now, just because it makes it easier to show you what I'm about to show you. Right, so I mean, it sounded a bit weak. The drum loop as it is at the moment sounds a bit weak. So what I want to do is sort of fatten up the kick and fatten up the snare, because they're the main two drums in a drum beat for me that will really help a groove sort of punch through and make it sound good or make it sound bad. So firstly, I am going to do the snare. So what I would do, I would do this pre-editing, so pre-quantizing all these slices. So you just have to imagine that. So apologies about that. So I'll go into one of my snare tracks here and bring it up in the editor, and as we can see, I've got my hit points here already in my drum editor, So if I wanted to get more hit points, I'd just bring my threshold down, but I don't. All I want is those main snare hits there. And then you can, this is not just in Cubase, by the way, this will work in most DAWs. So and then I want to create MIDI notes. So if I hit create MIDI notes, it will then create a nice little MIDI track somewhere down here with the snares in the right places, so you haven't got to sort of mess around. If it was quite an intricate snare part, then you want to make sure that you've got them all in time, and this does that for you. So what I'm going to do is just drag this part up to my drum sampler, where I've already got my snares loaded in. So if we click on this, we can see the MIDI notes there. Oh, we can see the MIDI notes there. Yeah, triggering this note just there. So I've got a snare already loaded in. And because all I want to do is fatten up my snare, give it a bit of body and a bit of weight. So let's just listen to the snare actually. Because I only want to sort of layer it up, I'm going to EQ it. So what I've got here is a low pass filter, and then I've got an EQ here acting as, I've got a high pass filter here from about 1 sort of 200 it starts to go, but it's mainly sort of from 1 below, and then here from 1k again, quite steep, so it's cutting everything off above that. So all I'm left with is this. Where is it? Let's get it up. More on. What's going on? There we go. Right. This really horrible, muffled sort of snare sound. So if we put it in with my snare, there we go. We can already hear that it's giving it a bit more body. So let's just take it out. Put it in. Much more weight. But I'm not going to stop there, because I can hear the tuning of that snare, that nice ringy sort of snare. I'm going to try and tune. Doesn't sound too bad, to be fair, at the moment, but I'm just going to tune it. I think it's about, that's about right. Not too much. So yeah, so let's just listen to it in there with the rest of the drums. Pull it down a little bit. Let's take it out. Let's put it back in. So the snare's got a lot more body and a lot more weight in it now. So if I wanted to completely replace my snare, then let's just see. Let's not solo the snare, mute the snare out, and then let's go back to my snare sample. I'm going to take this low pass filter off, bring it up. There we go. So that is how I would literally replace my snare. I would probably layer up at least one other snare with it in my sampler, though, because I mean, again, depending on what you wanted to use it for, what your actual sort of track that you were doing it for sounded like, probably wouldn't work as you just heard it. But that is how I would do it. So anyway, back to this. Now I'm going to pull this back down. My snare back in. Right. Anyway, so back to my kicks. It still sound well. Obviously, kicks sound. There's no bottom end in there at all. So what I've done here is I've done a little tutorial on this one before. I've created a kick sub. So it's just a group channel. And all I've done on my group channel is I have put a test generator, so anything that can create a tone, and it's on a sine wave. Let's just take this gate off so you can hear it, and I'll unmute it. Just bring it back up. So now we can hear, it's just looks a really subby tone going on. Obviously we can change that, but we don't want those. A nice sine wave to give it a nice sort of round bottom end. And now if I stick a gate on top, but make sure that this gate, so if it's just put a gate on, it's still going to make this noise. If I put a gate in sidechain mode, then take a send from my kick and send it to my sidechain. Look, see, sidechain kick sub channel. There we go. It should, if I solo this and solo this, give us a nice fat bottom end. So we've got the punchiness and the sort of the top as well from the kick itself, and then we've got a nice fat sub from me sub. So again, I've tuned this to 40 Hertz because I thought that was about its sweets. That was the tuning of the kick. So let's put it up to 50, just so that you can hear the difference. So I've just changed the tuning. we can hear that that's probably not the right key. Let's try 45. Right note, sorry. That's not far. That's not bad. That's not far off. So you probably get away with that. And also, I should say, on this gate, let's just get the gate up. You can obviously play around with your release times and your hold times and your threshold. So if I wanted a really much tighter sounding sub, I'll pull this release down. Yeah. Or if I want a nice sort of slow release, just gives it a bit more. So yeah, so you'd want to tune this sub, I guess, with your kick, but also importantly with your bass guitar or your synth bass or whatever it is, your sub that you're using your drums for in your track, to make sure that they're in tune with each other. So in tune or in the same key. Otherwise, you might be getting some really weird sort of muddiness from the intonation between the kick, the sub, and the bass itself. So that'd be a main reason for one of the main reasons for tuning your kick. Yeah, so let's just keep going, because 44 sounds okay, but I thought 40 sounded a bit better. To me, that sounds more, obviously an octave below, but that sounds more like the tuning of the kick to me. So there we go. Right, now let's go back to this. Let's take the sub out. Put it back in. I'm just going to turn this snare up a little bit. And now if we take out the snare and the sub, we can hear what it's done. Back in. So there's a lot more weight in there and fatness. So there you go. That's how I would replace my drums and tune them as well. Right. Nice one, guys. I hope that you'll take something from that. Yeah, I'll see you next month. Cheers. Bye.